you have $70,000, and you're like, I need to exchange this for USD because I need to pay for school. I need to pay for medical expenses, which is what Ari was doing for his mom. And they say, no, we have a currency shortage. This is not a good enough reason. I don't care that you have your own money. You can't pay for life-changing medical services because too bad. Um, I'm sorry, what? You're telling me what I can and cannot do with the money that I have to pay for something that it was for his mom. Um,
Wow.
uh, that is insane. Come back once a month and exchange, you'll get $200 US.
Keep 'em cold till I'm old. I don't plan to blow my load. Wallet so blue, if you know, you know. It's better than bonds, better than gold. Finna reap up what I sow. If it money can't keep up, it gets sold. How many times you been told? DCA's the way to go. Higher highs, higher lows. Every year my network grows. Every day my network grows. Running relays, running nodes. Yeah. Dollar a day's a minimum. Stats, zap, sats. Any fear I get, I'm flipping 'em.
So, Alexandra, I feel like you're my long lost cousin or something. I've
Yes.
never, or I have yet to meet someone else in the Bitcoin space whose parents are from Trinidad and Tobago, bing, and
Yep.
who grew up in Canada, more specifically Ontario.
Yes, I am your cousin. We are the cousins from foreign, as I like to talk about myself, as I'm the cousins from foreign. You're just like that. So we probably have a lot of overlap in terms of experiences, complaints, and all the good stuff.
And all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Why did your parents leave Trinidad for Canada?
Ooh, that's a good question. My mom left to This is great. This all ties in. She moved to support her family back home. So she took a big risk because there is a promise of living in North America that you can get a great job, you can live a dream, and you can help your family back home. So truly an immigrant story. My dad moved because his mom and dad moved to support his family back home, but he was 13. So he got to go. Give me one sec. Come on.
Is that your
Yeah.
dog?
I
Your
know.
dog could say hello to
It's
everyone.
not even my dog. No, my dog is upstairs. He's perfect angel. He's like, I'm staying in bed. This is my sister's dog, who's a lot more involved. So my dad, he moved when he was 13, but has the same ties to Trinidad. This is, that was his home. They both are from the same village, so there's a lot of overlap in terms of who they know
Which
and
which
so.
village?
So it's called Debe. It's home of the
Maybe.
doubles.
Okay.
That's where doubles was invented.
Oh, excuse me, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so anyone you meet from there is certified expert of doubles. They all have a very specific vendor that they go to, and if that vendor changes recipes, they know, and they'll investigate why, and then they'll be either for it or against it, depending if the recipe is to their taste. So, yeah,
Home of the doubles. I like
yeah,
Polari. I don't eat it as much because I live in Switzerland now.
yeah,
And also I don't eat as much like bread and flour as I used
right.
to. But growing up, my mom used to make the best roti at Christmas time.
Yes.
Polari doubles, and I'm such a kid. Tamarind balls
Oh my
with
God, I literally have on my
pepper.
table. My
Oh,
mom,
shut up.
she'll bring back, and there's just tamarind balls everywhere, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't, why are there so many? But like, they're good in a pinch. They're like spicy, savory, and sweet all at the same time, and you're like, okay, this is perfect. Pelori is addicting. I had to learn to make it because I lived somewhere where there wasn't any Caribbean. So when I was in Montreal, I lived in Montreal.
Yeah.
There was not a lot of Caribbean places there, and Pelori, I'm like, man, like I really, really want to eat it. So. I like busted out like the recipe book and everything like that. It was successful. It was good, but like it's better when someone else makes it for you. That's like
Yeah.
100%.
Totally. I'm going to, when I edit this, I'm going to add images so people could know what doubles, Polari, roti, tamarind balls with pepper. My Auntie Jean, when I was a kid,
Yeah.
my dad went to Trinidad. He came back with like a paper bag full of tamarind balls, and it wasn't even, they weren't even in balls. It was just tamarind in the bag. And she put so much pepper in it. It was so, so good.
Good. I'm glad you
Like my
mentioned
mouth
the pepper.
waters.
Yeah, no, I'm one of the few that can handle like a lot of pepper and like so they're like, oh, it's really spicy. I'm like, that's great. And then I'll have it. I'm like, this is mild. What are you talking about? And yeah, so I get it. I get it. No.
Yeah, and when we go back For Christmas, my mom, because she makes pepper sauce and she'll put it in a jar and we'll bring it back here to Switzerland.
Yep,
They
yep.
have, here we've got like people from Senegal. They have good pepper. They make
Yes.
decent pepper and stuff,
Yes.
but I haven't quite found the same kind of savor and taste from
No.
like my mom. So
Yeah.
I just bring stuff
That.
back home.
Nothing beats a homemade pepper sauce. I have like a full jar. We have too much pepper sauce in the fridge, but I have a full jar of just homemade. Because where else are you going to get that? And it goes with everything. I have yet to find something that it doesn't go with. So yeah, good.
Yeah.
Well, we'll find pepper sauce for you and we'll send it because there is birdies. Have you ever had birdies?
No, that's
No.
birdies.
They probably nailed in terms of prepackaged pepper sauce. So
Oh,
they're like
okay.
really popular in Trinidad and here in Canada and wherever else there's Caribbean stores. Um, yeah, that's like my default Christmas present for anyone who's not Caribbean. I'm like, here you go, pepper sauce. Merry Christmas. Yeah.
So how did you discover Bitcoin then? Because I have to say that it's rare. Like when I speak to my cousins on occasion in Trinidad, Bitcoin
Mhm.
doesn't seem to have taken off there at all.
No.
And amongst the Bitcoiners I've met so far, going on a few years now, it's rare that I encounter people whose background is from Trinidad and they're into Bitcoin as well.
No, we're very, very rare. That's why when I do find them, I'm like, hi, we need to group together. Bitcoin, when I first heard about it, it was 2012. I always mix up these years. It was 2012. And it was cool internet money. That was as much as I knew, which was like, this is something that is, I'm the internet friend of my group. I knew how to install ad blocker on everyone's desktop. I knew like all the latest trends when it came to like where to go on the internet. I had the Tumblr, I had the MySpace, I had everything. I am to this day chronically online. So Bitcoin was just something that I would hear a little bit on when it was mentioned on online, and I was like, what is this? I'm the cool internet friend. It would be really cool for me to own some. So I Googled how to buy
Oh,
Bitcoin or
nice.
how to own Bitcoin like in 2012, had to be, or 2013, something around there. And at first was like, first own a miner, then install. And I was like, close tab. I was like, I don't know what any of this means. So I just thank you for the lesson. Um, but a few years later, my cousin, he's my co-founder as well. His name is Ari, so he's gonna be mentioned a few times. He was on the forum, the cryptography forum that Bitcoin's white paper was launched. So he was there when Satoshi was posting.
Oh,
Um,
so that's
he-
Bitcoin talk.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
he participated in those conversations. He was a lurker, so there's not a lot.
Yeah.
But then he implemented um, mining. He was the first in Montreal. He did the FPGA miner, which is very cool. It was purely academic for him. So he had a lot of Bitcoin. He used to give it away for $1 for Tim Hortons coffee.
Shout out to the Orange Manufacturing Group. They helped me with my logo design, and you know that I'll be ordering their premium hardwood sign and lightning keychain. Accessories are curated from a selection of durable traditional materials built to last. Use the Geyser Fund link in the show notes to take advantage of their trust minimal process. Or to save 5%, go to omg21btc.com. That's omg21btc.com and use code AAB21Q.
10 Bitcoin, he'd be at the corner. This is his story. And he'd be like, do you want 10 Bitcoin for $1? And he'll say it to strangers, and they're like, this is weird. You're weird. We'll give you $1 though, because you look hungry. So like, he would give them private keys. He would give them private keys on paper. He would get the money. He would buy coffee for his lab. Who knows what they've done with those private keys? Little do they know it's worth how much now.
Wait,
Um,
wait. If Ari still wants to give away 10 Bitcoin for $1, tell him that, I would not mock him.
I know. I say it all the time. Does he have 10 Bitcoin to give away now? I don't know. And like it's a story that really like it's hilarious. And he's like, no regrets because I'm so glad that like it was purely academic for him. But I'm like, some regrets because we have to be actively fundraising. We have to, watch our budget. But if you were giving away 10 Bitcoin then, imagine what it could have done for us and what we could build now. So yeah, I think every Bitcoiner has a story like that. Not me, because I didn't know what mine was at the time, but he does. So yeah, when he first mentioned it to me that this was something that was somewhat interesting to him because we started working together in 2014. I was like, yeah, I know what that is. I know it's magic internet money. Um, I would like to own some. How do I do that? And then he was able to give me a walkthrough. And then by the time we started working together, 2014, 2015, it was slightly easier to buy it. I had no money then though. I was undergrad, so like it didn't matter. It's like, yeah, I'll buy
Yeah.
like a couple. I was like, oh, $500 for one Bitcoin. That's really expensive.
Yeah,
I
I
will.
know. I mean, I think everyone has the same reaction, you know?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like when you
exactly.
first hear about it, no matter what the price is, you think it's expensive for what it is.
Yeah.
And with time, you realize, oh, okay, $500 was not that much.
Damn it. Why
One
didn't I?
dollar for 10 Bitcoin was not that
Oh,
much.
that's crazy. It was crazy. Yeah. Yeah. So that was my intro to Bitcoin. Yeah. Sometimes I go back to my Facebook wall and I'll see that he wrote like during the time he was mining and he would just post memes or like, how's university? And I'm like, meanwhile, you didn't tell me you were into Bitcoin. Damn it. But yeah. Yeah.
So do you speak to your like family besides your cousin Ari? Like, do you speak to other people about Bitcoin as well?
Yes. Yeah. So my mom, my sister, and my dad all hold Bitcoin in some
Eh,
capacity.
eh.
I know. Trusted me. Maybe because I talk about it so much. My mom also
Yeah.
holds Doge, so like
As a
I'm always
joke
like,
or
I don't know. So
mommy
I'm like,
rebellion?
I don't know. She bought it way back when Elon first mentioned it, and Elon wasn't who he is today. And she's like, yeah, he owns it, and he's like Iron Man of the world. And I was like, okay, um, you could also buy more Bitcoin with it, but okay, whatever. She has it. And then my extended family, I'm super close to them. Anytime anyone mentions money, savings, crypto, Bitcoin, it's like an instant point finger. Talk to that girl. She knows what she's doing. Like
Nice.
I don't know what I'm doing, and please don't ask me financial advice. But but yes, yes, I can talk to you about Bitcoin. I can share my philosophy. It's very interesting because anyone who is they have really polarizing views on the world, whether extreme right or extreme left. I'm in
Yeah.
front of them all. There is an argument for Bitcoin, right? No government involvement, privacy. Why should your money be, watched by the government or free money? Everyone has access to it. What does inflation look like? Cost of living. So being well equipped with the argument is I'm friends with everybody because I'm like, yeah, listen, Bitcoin will save us. So it works.
Very nice. I need to I'd like to meet your family one day just to like see what the mix is and stuff and
Yep.
how,
No problem.
mommy's rebellion with Doge
Over Polari and doubles. Absolutely no
over
problem.
and
Very
some
exciting.
tamarind balls.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, in Trinidad, what's the situation there? So, from again, my failed attempts at trying to send a few sats over Lightning to a cousin, I kind of get the impression that it is not something that is happening.
Uh, it's interesting. Bitcoin to the masses is pretty close to what it is for somebody who's only heard about Bitcoin over the news, which it's the reputation is that's way too complicated for me. That's a new technology. I will
Yeah.
they'll almost like their eyes will glaze over and they're like, well, no, I don't even need to try to understand this. Or and I guess sometimes I get shy when people ask me what I do and I say I work in Bitcoin, it'll be like instant, like they'll slam their fist on the table, like, scam. And I'm like, not a scam. Not a scam. And in Trinidad, a few times there's been a few uh, scam artists really using Bitcoin to get people's money. So the reputation
Yeah.
in Trinidad is, that is too far in technology. It is a scam. How do I trust this? And then kind of at the higher level is like there's no regulatory framework. There's no working with the local banks. All the local banks have like blocked Coinbase and Binance and credit cards don't work. So it really is hard to get to the masses if you're talking Bitcoin first. However, there's a very very strong trading community. So USD, not
Yeah,
USDC,
Tether. Yeah.
USDT, and then all of the meme coins or regular coins to invest in. So they may not have access to the same stock market, and of course, the crypto community has adopted somewhat of a trading, community, or trading perspective on what crypto is.
Yeah.
And Bitcoin is accepted there. It's almost like this could be a base currency, and we'll use Bitcoin and then come in and out of it as needed. And then they'll hold the balance either in USDT or Bitcoin. And we've been pushing Bitcoin with the access that we're giving. So actually, I'm seeing a little bit more on the Bitcoin side, which is super cool.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
find that like especially for my aunts and stuff, they seem a little bit more traditional and more reliant on the system and the
Yeah.
hierarchy. Like
Yeah.
it seems to be very almost French, because so historically Trinidad has been colonized by the UK, France, Spain, I think Holland, and I'm missing another one, I do believe. And I find
Which is
a lot of
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I find a lot of similarities. I think the school system in Trinidad is based on the French system, and I find a lot of similarities in mindset between my husband is French and the older generation French people and what I see in Trinidad, like very, you must do this, you must do this.
Yeah.
But some things are kind of arbitrary depending on, you know what I mean? Like if you
Yeah.
pass, if I like you, whatever, like it's not an open source kind of culture.
It's everybody wants what's best for their kids, and
Yeah.
the traditional
Education.
the traditional route is become a lawyer, doctor, and engineer. Get a job. Engineer means go to Google or be an actual like working with metal or software.
Yeah.
Lawyer and doctor, same thing. And then anything that breaks outside of that is weird. Is you're taking too big of a risk. Are you why that's not meant for you? And it wouldn't be said in so many words, but it is very much
Yeah.
like you can't afford to take that risk. Somebody who's in a more privileged position can. I don't know if it's French or if the UK and the French have the same, where it's forms and standards in terms of school, where standards and then forms and then they
Uh,
take like because
so in France, it's like, oh, what do they call it? CP, C1, or something like that. I don't know if it's called a form or a standard, but I know
yeah,
that it's not
yeah.
like grade 1, grade 2, grade 3,
No, it's
like
not.
in
Yeah,
Canada.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So the UK, it's weird. They also have houses. There's like depending on how smart you test, as you'll be in different houses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the educational system, and it works really well. I find that Trinidadians, Caribbeans are brilliant and can usually outpace quite a lot of the population in terms of like understanding, first person principle thinking.
Yeah.
Just they do get kind of in the rat race, so to speak, and getting outside the box is a big leap. It's hard looking like us, sounding like us, and not being associated with something like vibes and soca and
Yeah. Which,
what are
I
you
mean, I do love
doing
soca
here?
though.
Uh,
Yeah. Like,
I'm a it's all I listen to. Like it's I'm at the as much as I say yes. Our biggest export is not vibes and soca. Like I participate in all those things, so it is a huge export. It is part of what makes us unique.
it's possible, in my opinion, to have both, and um I like for me growing up, I've always had issues with respect to fitting in a specific box. So, you know what I mean? Like every time I go to the US, it's like, "Oh, are you African American?" And I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm not American." You know what I mean? Like and then growing up, it was you had to be Jamaican. You know what I mean? Like everyone wanted to be Jamaican, and I'm like,
Yep.
yeah, I mean, I love Jamaican culture, but that's not me either. Like I've
Yeah.
always had issues with boxes, and then
Yeah.
in the Bitcoin space, I think a lot of people initially who gravitated towards this are quite introverted, and they're not into music or parties or anything, and I don't go part. I mean, the last time I went out to any kind of club was a long time ago, but that's also because I'm a mother and I'm married. But if music is playing, I'm not shy to move and dance. And it's
Right.
like, but you know what I
Right.
mean? Like, it's like, how
Yeah.
can you be into Bitcoin and also like music and want to dance?
It's a big challenge. I yeah, I have there's almost like a Bitcoin nerd side, if you would, which I love. I'm reading,
Yeah.
I'm here, I'm at hackathons, where it's
Oh, good for
quiet and
you.
everyone is coding. But then
Yeah.
on the other side, I'm at we have Caravana here, right? I'm at
Yeah,
the
of
on the
course.
road. I'm enjoying, the artists that play. Last time I went out was in December. I went and saw Kess. Oh my God, amazing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Was it good?
yes, he is such a great performer. So he's my favorite artist because that was one of your questions.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's an amazing performer. It's called Kessmas because it's right around Christmas time. And I was like,
Hmm.
yeah, I need to go. I need to have fun. I need to, be in touch with that part of my culture.
Yeah.
Um, which yeah, you don't see a lot in Bitcoin. Rare to find us, but then also rare to find people who just will be like, in order for me to think, I really need loud music. Please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, move. I tried to, I think it was maybe 3 Christmases ago,
Hmm.
because my parents, when they moved to Canada, they let go of their passport for Trinidad. And then I want to say maybe 10 years ago, my dad reapplied and he got his passport.
Right.
So he said, Sai, through me, you can get a passport for Trinidad and
Yes.
Tobago. And I'm like,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
because who doesn't want another passport? So I
Exactly.
made sure all my documents here were translated. In Switzerland, everything is like, I think it's three or four languages, including English. I painstakingly sent emails to the embassy or the mission or whatever it is in Toronto. And I
Right.
said, these are the papers I have. Is it okay? Whatever, whatever.
Hmm.
We get there. We wait some more. I submit my papers. Everything was there. And the lady was like, oh, I'm sorry. I forget what it was, but there was like, I don't know, a sentence or something that wasn't in English. And she's like, I'm sorry. You have to come back. We can't, like set the application forward for your passport. And I'm like, I actually planned this trip, including airfare to get here. And
Oh,
like,
it's terrible.
there's nothing I can do electronically, nothing whatsoever. So,
Nothing. Signed,
yeah.
printed, notarized, and like come back in 2 weeks. Yeah, Trinidad is terrible when it comes to anything bureaucratic. I feel your pain. The company that I founded with Ari is probably born from how the banks, how the government treats their people. Like, sorry, you can't take out your own money because we have a currency shortage. $200 a month,
Oh,
every month, 200 USD. So imagine you had $10,000 that you needed,
yeah.
um, in USD, but you're in Trinidad and you had the equivalent. So that would be, let's just 6.8,
Oh,
times,
6.8.
right? So it's like you have $70,000 and you're like, I need to exchange this for, USD because I need to pay for school. I need to pay for medical expenses, which is what Ari was doing for his mom. And they say, no, we have a currency shortage. This is not a good enough reason. I don't care that you have your own money. You can't pay for life-changing medical services because too bad. Um, I'm sorry, what? You're telling me what I can and cannot do with the money that I have to pay for something that it was for his mom.
Wow.
Um, uh, that is insane. Come back once a month and exchange, you'll get $200 US.
So break
Yeah.
down the currency shortage.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Like, and how do people pay for things? Is it in cash? Is it, electronically? Like, break it down.
Yes. Yes. So Trinidad has uh, its own currency, so the Trinidad and Tobago dollars. It is
Hmm.
soft pegged to the US dollar, so it doesn't fluctuate every day. It's 6.78 is the exchange. So for every $1 US, I can get $6.78 Trinidadian.
Okay.
Um, and that is what the government will say is the official rate. So if your bank account has Trinidadian and Tobago dollars, you can say I have the equivalent of this much in US, even if it's in TTD. A currency shortage means that there is less US dollars in this case, or whatever currency, but US in this example, coming into the country, than there is, being like that, then that country wants TTD, for example, or any country wants TTD going out.
Hold on. So the currency's shortage is with respect to US dollars and not TT
Yes.
dollars.
Yes, yeah. So they
Ah,
can
okay.
print, you can
Okay.
print as much Trinidad and Tobago dollars as they want. Of course, that's inflation, and that's something they have to be very careful for. But anybody who's from Trinidad almost has two currencies, or they have dual currencies in their mind. They're thinking, well, I live my day to day in Trinidad and Tobago dollars, but if I'm buying on Amazon, or I'm paying for airplane tickets, or I'm going on vacation, or something costs, Netflix costs X amount of US a month, they're converting that in their mind.
Okay.
Now, the capital controls, that's probably is when they say, hey, as much as it is actually worth this, we don't have that foreign capital to support what we're saying that it's worth. And it's they will narrow the road. They would say you can't exchange as much in order for us to protect the value of our local currency, TTD. We can't just be doing this exchange as much as possible, or as much as the population wants. And then you also have almost like tiers. You have like large businesses that would have access to the USD first. Then you'll have maybe like the a little bit more
Okay.
rich, where they have the ins, or they know the right people to do that exchange. And then you have the local population who now have limits on their credit card, how much they can spend in US on their credit card. So even if they have $1,000 credit card, right, $1,000 USD, the banks are saying no, you can only spend $200 a month on it.
Oh, so it's like a different kind of take on the Cantillon effect. So instead of like, so with the tiers in the Cantillon effect, it's like when you're closest to the money printer, i.e., you have a lot of assets, you
Yeah.
get the cheapest interest rate. And then
Oh,
there are similar types of tiers. But in
yeah.
this situation, the tiers refer to your access to the US
Yeah,
dollars.
yeah, and it's unofficial. Like no one's gonna say, well, because I have this, it's written somewhere that I get this much US, but they'll get priority access. They know the right people. They
Yeah.
bring in that. So now there is this need, because you have folks who want to save. They want to save in a currency that is not losing its value, because although the TTD is soft pegged to 6.78, with these capital controls, with you know the Trinidad and Tobago dollar is just not as powerful on the international market. I don't even think, like, you always have to exchange it to USD to go to another currency, to like even Canadian. So now it's not as powerful. So unofficially, it is a different rate, which it would be, people are willing to pay 7.5. So for every $1 US, I'm willing to pay 7.5, or I'm willing to pay 8. Or if I'm really, really in a pinch, I'll pay 9. I'll pay
Yeah.
more. And so then you have an unofficial rate, which we call the street rate. And this is actually what Guap is completely based off of, which is the money that you have, whether it be USD or TTD, is worth, it's worth something different. You can get more TTD because that's what the market is willing to pay, but the government is not telling you that. The bank is not telling you that, because they need to
Yeah.
protect their own interests. Which government's going to say, "Hey, your savings is worth 10 times less." They're not going to do that until
Yeah.
it's the only option that they can do. So that is what Guap, so that's my company, is all about, is that getting access to those street rates without going home, and I'm sure your family's done this, with an envelope of cash and saying, "Hey, uncle, auntie, I have this much in USD. Who can exchange it for me?" And they'll say, "Well, go to this person, do this. They'll give you this much," and it's a little haggle back and forth,
Yeah.
and you're not even sure if you're really going to get all that you can. And it's also dangerous to be walking around with envelopes of cash. So so
Yep.
yeah, so that is what we call the street rate. But so that's where us noticing that sending money through a bank or sending it through Western Union, you're losing value, you're losing like 30%, compared to, hey, like, if is there a way for me to send it over Bitcoin, is the solution that we have, or bring cash, and you're getting that much more to pay for medical expenses, school, rent, whatever that may be.
So guap is oh, hold on. What does guap stand for first? Is
So
it
GUAP
like an yeah.
is it's not an acronym. It's
Yeah,
one
okay.
word. So yeah, so in America, it means money. It's kind of a street name for money. So there's Big Sean has a song called Guap. That's kind of been our
Yeah,
theme
you
song,
could
which is like,
tell I'm
yeah.
not following everything
It's fine.
because
This song came out like years ago, and we
okay.
were like, I was like, oh, you know what, Guap, that's interesting. But I think Big Sean has a song, and it is one of his more popular songs. It comes from the word guapo, which guapa
Oh,
is means
beautiful. Or
beautiful and
yeah.
handsome.
Yep.
So it's actually a handsome sum of money or a pretty penny. So that's what I've
Nice.
seen, and it's give me that guap, like give me. So people would speak like they'd be like, give me that guap. I need to be paid cash, street money, whatever that may be. And Americans, like Spanish term, of course. But it really captured what we were looking for, which is that people talk about money on the street. It's very different from when you talk about money in the bank. Um, so
Mm-hmm.
Guap was a very polarizing name when we first came out with it. People were like, "Yes, I love it. I get it instantly. That makes a lot of sense." And then some people are like, "What is that? I don't why it's guacamole." And I'm like, "No, no. Let me give
Guacamole
you,
green,
let me
cash
give
is
you some,
green.
exactly, exactly. So let me give you a little bit of like, this is what it means. So yeah, that is guap. It doesn't stand for anything, but so far it's a great name for a company.
Yeah, it stands out. So is Guap built on Bitcoin? Like, is it
Yes.
like a layer two solution or?
Yes. So the original solution is built on Lightning. So of course with Lightning, you have it's instant settlement, instant transactions that happen so fast. So when we do demos with the folks back home, they're able to they're like, wow, this was sent from Canada or the US. So when I'm doing a demo and I'm sitting here in Canada, I'm like, yeah, I'm pressing send right now. And then the balance will pop up instantly on their wallet, and they're like, oh my God, that happened that fast. We're going to be moving on to a new layer two. It's called Spark. It's by
Oh,
Light
okay.
Spark.
Okay. Oh,
It
yeah.
is
I heard the announcement recently,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes. So we're working really closely with the team. It is a lot stronger. Lightning is great. It takes a little bit more technical knowledge to set up a Lightning wallet. So you have node management,
Yeah.
you have to
Yeah.
fund
Yeah.
all those things,
Channels.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and one of the most important things for us is self custody, censorship resistant. And so Spark allows that without it being so complicated in terms of like a new user. Again, because they hear Bitcoin and their eyes glaze over and it's too technical. It's Bitcoin. If I start talking about Lightning and node management, they're like, that's that's too many steps. With Spark is able to set up a wallet that is completely owned by them without going through like a mini Bitcoin 101 course. So that's what Guap is going to be built on when Spark is launched, which I believe is relatively soon. So that's super exciting.
That's amazing. And access like in the iOS or Play Store, the App
Both.
Store.
It's gonna
And in Trinidad, is it blocked or anything? Like, or can anyone just download the wallet and good to go?
Yeah, anybody can download the wallet. So it is just a wallet, which is fantastic for us because we won't need to be regulated in the same way as a centralized entity who's holding their funds. They'll be holding their own funds, and it will be available across the Caribbean, Latin
Oh,
America,
nice.
and then and then America and Canada once we're launched. For now, we're able to use Strike because we're not launched yet because we have to build it. So they're able to use Strike, and Strike in Trinidad looks a little different than Strike in the U.S., but it's still available. So you're able to receive and you're able to cash out.
Oh, nice. Very nice. That's amazing. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I hope because I have spoken to my family about Bitcoin, and like you say, their eyes glaze over.
Yeah.
My mom a few months ago, she said, "Saida, I just don't know what you're saying." Like she just like, so hopefully, when they see this, they'll feel a little bit more interested. It's not just crazy Saida talking about Bitcoin. Like there are others as well.
Yeah. Are they home? Are they in Trinidad?
My parents, no, they're in.
No.
They're still in Scarborough.
They're okay. Well, I can go demo it for them. That's no problem if they have money that they want to send back home. What's really great about Guap is that we have a Bitcoin ATM that we've set up in Trinidad, and we've abstracted away all notion of crypto and Bitcoin unless unless you're already familiar with it. But
Yeah.
if you're not familiar with it and you have received money, so your parents, let's just say they send money back home, and it's to somebody who needs to pay for rent or for school. They'll have a balance on their phone, and my phone's recording, so I can't show you, but they'll have a balance on their phone. They'll go to the ATM. The ATM pretty much pulls up a QR code. They scan the QR code within the app, how much they're withdrawing in TTD, and then that ATM spits out the cash. And then behind the scenes, what it's doing is a sell for Bitcoin, and that Bitcoin is brought from Canada to the US, and it's there. And then we have a saver, so somebody who wants to escape that local currency, so somebody who knows about the capital controls and they want to save an alternative currency. It would be nice, but Bitcoin works just as well. They're coming and they're buying that Bitcoin, and they're holding it or trading it or doing whatever they want with it because it's their money. So the person who cares about the cash gets the cash. The person who wants to send down the money, it's very simple. It feels like a way better Western Union. That's the hope. There's no person asking questions. There's no lining up at a really big line.
Yep.
And then the person who's incentivized to own Bitcoin but may not necessarily have access because whatever trading system is not available, their credit cards don't work, they're able to take cash and go buy it at the ATM. So it's everybody works together and it's a win-win-win so far.
So, because you brought up Western Union, when I
Yeah.
was a kid, I remember seeing at Caravana a Western Union sponsoring so many events and stuff.
Still,
My
yeah.
dad sings in calypso tents, and so like there would always be like a Western Union sponsor.
Yeah.
And so, do you think you would get pushback from Western Union or from people who work for Western Union and see that, you know, this competition is coming in, that it's less expensive than your traditional, you know, money transfer service?
Yeah, probably. But that's okay. What is a little bit of competition for you, Western Union? You're a huge company and you've dominated the market for a really long time and you've had no incentive to improve. So,
Yeah.
yeah, give me the pushback. That's okay. Part of the experiments that I've done on Twitter was to just look on Western Unions, like look for the tags and see all the complaints. And like the complaints were insane. Accounts are frozen. You know, I can't send to myself. There's no reason that my mom could pick up money. This is the complaints that we had, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, like fine. Western Union doesn't have a real reason to change or to offer better prices. They take enough off the top when you're sending it
Yeah.
down. Yeah, we probably will get pushback, but also they're busy. I think MoneyGram, when I was in Trinidad last time, their systems went down for like 3 days, and I was just hearing commercials. I was like radio ads when I was walking through the mall. MoneyGram is down. You know, please bear with us.
Wow.
We will or will may not have your funds in the next couple days for you to pick up. What? How? These are people's money. Like this is not something that you should be just saying too bad. But time and time again, people in Trinidad, families, Trinidadian, Caribbean, Latin American, African as well, have
Yeah.
been second class citizens when it comes to their money.
Most
Why?
definitely.
It's not fair to them. They're valuable members of society, and yes, they operate in a different currency, but they should have equal treatment when it comes to their savings.
Most definitely. That's amazing. That is so cool. That's like, I feel like you're my best friend now.
Great. Always on the hunt for new best friends. I'm excited.
So, before we close out, can you tell people where they can demo Guap, find Guap, and find you, like your website or social media?
Yeah, so useguap.com is where our website will be. But you can find the most up-to-date information on TikTok, which is my face telling you how to use Guap and what's exciting about it. And I have fans on there now, which is a little funny. So find us on TikTok. It's Guap_app. If you see me, then that's the right one you're at. Also on Instagram, same thing. Um, yeah, stay tuned for our Twitter. We'll be talking a lot more about the Bitcoin side of things and kind of our position on gasless payments and Spark and why we're choosing to build these things in a non-custodial manner so that people are holding their own funds. Lots of great stuff is coming out there. Yeah, that would be it.
Nice. And I have to say, Scott Wolfe, thank you. Shout out to Scott Wolfe, who created the Signal group. Hold on, let me check to see what it's called so I do not do him a disservice. I get so many messages coming in, and he just, so he created the Caribbean Bitcoin Collective. It's
Yes.
a single group. There are a few of us in there. And I don't think I would have, like our paths would have crossed on Twitter necessarily. I don't get a lot of reach on Twitter or X. And so we may not have crossed paths. So thank you so much, Scott Wolfe.
Shout out to Scott. He is the best. I met him at Adopting Bitcoin in El Salvador, which was like the greatest place to meet Bitcoiners. He makes things happen. When he's ready and when I'm ready, which will be when the snow is melted, we'll probably meet up and have a really good time. There's so much snow outside. I'm like not looking for. I have to shovel, which is not great.
That's so Canadian. I don't miss the snow. I don't miss
Yeah.
shoveling.
I know. My mom is in Trinidad right now. My dad is in Miami. Why am I here? Oh, because I have the 4 dogs. That's why. Someone has to do it, pretty much. Yeah.
How was El Salvador?
That was amazing. So when you
it?
first land, it's like, yes, Bitcoin is accepted here. And you could just talk about Bitcoin. Everybody knows what it is. Now they don't know, like they're not going to go into like, distributed and like it's a shared ledger. Like they don't have to know that, but they're like, yeah, it's a currency. Here's my wallet. Pay me. I'm like, wow, this is insane. This is such a great experience. The weather is really warm. And so I'm always here for that. And the food is fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, being surrounded by Bitcoiners and adopting Bitcoin from all walks. So they may
Yeah.
have been 2 weeks in and they bought a ticket, or they might be like myself, which is more than 10 years at this point. They have like lots of opinions. Yeah, that is a your people in the many types of people I have. That's the your people on the tech side. But you have overlap. You're my people in terms of tech and in terms of Caribbean, and so that's
Yeah.
20 times more exciting. Yes.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
in El Salvador in 2022. Not for conference, but just because long time, I keep saying this, but it's true. I've been following Max Kaiser and Stacey Herbert for years. And when they moved to El Salvador, I was like, El Salvador, what? Like, what is this all about? And they kept insisting that it was safe and, people accepted Bitcoin. And I learned about El Zonte through them and stuff. So
Right.
it's
Yeah.
like, I have to go and see it. And beautiful. And ironically, we went to a pupusa stand
Yes.
and and I was thinking Trinidad Polari doubles, you know what I mean? Like little
Yeah.
things that you can pick up.
Yeah.
And I asked, there was actually a strike sticker. So I asked to
Right.
pay in sats,
Yeah.
which I did. And when I'm like at the payment area, I see tamarind balls hanging up on the
Right.
little side. And I'm like,
Full circle.
I'm like, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh
So
my
one
God.
day it would be cool to be able to buy doubles in Trinidad.
It's gonna
with
happen.
sats.
We've been so Ari, my co-founder, he has his doubles guy. As I said, everybody has. So he's been every time he goes, he's like, "Are you ready to accept Bitcoin? I will set up a wallet for you." The guy's like, "No, it's okay." But you wear them down eventually, and you're like, "Listen, just at least me, accept it, and I'll show you. We'll pay a premium." So we're getting there. So when you do make it to Trinidad, 100% I'll be there. We'll go get doubles and we'll pay for it with Bitcoin, and it will be a huge thing for all of us.
Most definitely. Well, thank
Right.
you, Alexandra. This is the first part, and sit tight because we're going to do 21 questions next.
Great, cool.
Keys. Yeah. Man like Quakes. Man like who? Yeah. Takes her Bitcoin off exchanges under self-custody. She runs her own node, providing liquidity. Yeah, she got her own keys. She got her own keys. She got her own keys. Yeah, she got her own keys. 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 Yeah, she got her own keys.